Okay guys, what's up? What's going on? Howdy. All the time, all the ways you can say hi. Yeah, it's another day. It is a little bit warmer day than yesterday. Yesterday, we fixed that 600 feet of main line. Today, you can see we got another hole in the field. We've been working on this one. Christopher filmed. I actually got in the hole, believe it or not. I do work here. So, Christopher filmed a little bit of that. I'll show you that right here.
Well, here we are out here in the field, and because no one usually sees Terry because he's always behind the camera, I guess you just see his face. We'll show him doing some actual work, you know, after I did most of the work with this, but...
I do work here, believe it or not.
But yeah, so there's a couple of little breaks in this main line, like you see the water coming out right there. We're just putting on some temporary like plugs. We have some of the main line that we could fix this. Just right now we don't have a ton of time. Yesterday we replaced 500 or 600 feet of it, so we have enough left over that we could do just down there to the pickup. Might only be, I bet it's around 100 feet, so it'll only take about 5 sticks of pipe, which we have. We just don't have the time right now to do this. We have enough other things to get ready for doing hay. So this is our short-term fix for now. If it was really worse, then we would have to fix it different. But I guess if it doesn't fix it, it might just cause another hole somewhere else, and we will find out probably next week. So he's just tightening the clamp on that. So there's just a little rubber seal with a metal kind of a cap that you clamp on with like a hose clamp, and with the rubber, tightening the rubber down, it stops the leak. So nothing fancy, just enough to stop a little leak.
Just like that, it's not leaking anymore.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed it holds. You
Yep.
gotta keep those fingers crossed all the time.
I know.
Never stop. Okay, but now we are trying to figure out what to do. So when I put those repairs on, we thought this whole thing was just metal mainline from here on out. Turns out I saw that there was a little bit of a bell, so he dug to here. It's just a reducer, so it goes from 8-inch to 6-inch, and it has a steel reducer in the middle, and that's where our holes are. So we put the repairs on there. So we're trying to just decide if we want to just let it go with those repairs. If it starts leaking, we'll come dig it up and fix this. But we're not quite sure what they make. I don't know if they don't make a plastic reducer, so it'd have to be a steel one you'd have to weld together. Yeah, so we are not entirely sure what to do here. This video is probably going to be a multiple day video because, yeah, it's Friday and it's nearing the end of the day. So, yeah, we're going to think about this and see what we can figure out. All right, guys, well, I just got back to the shop. We just decided to just bury it with those patches. And if the patches hold, great. If they don't hold, we know right where it's at to put a repair on. I got back to the shop, and you'll notice something's in our shop. We have a new baler. So we decided, because we're baling all of our hay and our wheat by ourselves instead of doing custom, we decided to get a baler, a new one that'll last us, I mean, as many bales as this thing should go. It should last us 30 years. Like, this should be the last baler we buy for a long, long time. So we got a new baler. It's a New Holland 3x4 bale. It should be pretty awesome. We've heard these do pretty darn well. And they've made it way simpler to use. So I'll show you guys this in another video. Right now I have a pivot that the Rain for Rent electricians just got fixed. So I got to go turn that pivot on, and we got a call from Idaho Pacific, who are taking the potatoes that the A-frames that they've left in there way longer than they should have are all sprouted, and they can't take them unless we run them across to our sorter table. So Josh and Trevor are hooking up the sorter table. We still have our even flow bin and our piler set up from when we transloaded all of our seed potatoes. So we're just going to pull the piler forward, put the sorter table in there with a little side conveyor to dump onto the piler, and they're gonna load them up at the cellar. They'll bring them here. We'll transload them back into a semi. We just have to run them across our sorter table to get rid of the vines or the sprouts. Run them across there, put them back into a semi, then send them in. On the plus side, it should make our tear go down because we're not getting docked for all the vines. On the downside, it's gonna take way longer to do. So, I don't know. We have to do it or they won't take them. So we're kind of in a pickle, but I'm gonna go start this pivot. It is really windy. I may take you guys out there and show you kind of what I'm doing. It might be windy in the camera, we'll see, but I'm gonna go do that. Hey, you remember what we said in the last video when it rains it pours? Well, I was just about to start up the pivot and Christopher texted me and said he just blew out a tire on the side of the field in the backhoe. So now I gotta go get Christopher. So yeah, it just never stops. I gotta pick him up, then I have to go start the pivot. Man, it is windy. Holy guacamole. It's like you've got some problems.
The tire on the other side blew out.
Cool.
They don't have it, so they're going to come and fix it. So we can at least get it back and then probably do something.
All right. Got the pivot on, and Christopher just recorded a little short. There's a skunk living in that hole. I don't like that there's a skunk right there. The pivot that I'm gonna have to come to a lot this year. But there's a skunk in there and the panel's here. And
hey, tell you what.
it's on.
So while he's in there, he couldn't lift up his tail, right? All you need to do is get like a decent sized rock or something.
And just cover the
or
hole.
a piece of concrete. And then you just like sit it there and then like cover dirt on top of it. Whatever. You know, he might get out, but he probably wouldn't come back. But he couldn't lift his tail to spray you though.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. I don't like skunks.
That's why I was thinking.
Yep. Well, more problems. We got that pivot going and immediately shut off, so we thought it was fixed, and apparently it's not fixed. But we got some problems in here. Luckily, I think this camera can actually see really well in the dark. So this is the cellar that a few weeks ago flooded. Well, look at that. Hey, now you can actually see it. It's flooded again. We got like 2 feet of water in here again. And it's the same thing. So on the other side of this wall, this is the humidicell. On the other side of this, there's like a toilet plunger thing. So what that does is it just controls the water because it runs water down this cell, and that plunger drops down, fills up the trough in the bottom, then it pumps that up to the top. And as it blows air through here, it takes that moisture with it. So this has to keep filling up. Well, yesterday, my grandpa's power went out in his house and it tripped the breaker on the well. So the well stopped, but the cellars did not stop. So they just ran that trough dry, and now the plunger is stuck down, open, and now we have to pump that out so we can get in and flip that plunger. So not a huge deal because it's not hurting the cellar. We just have to pump it out. This door doesn't work very well. But also we're still setting up all the stuff to transload. So just lots of problems and just never stops. Seems like every 5 minutes something new pops up. All right, we are getting things set up here. So since me and Christopher have been out getting pivots and stuff going, these guys have been here getting this all set up. So we got our sorter table out. It was in the cellar here. Got our sorter table out. Now we are trying to get this all set up so we can transload, because the sorter table has belted chain. Need a block? Yeah, we'll have to get a block. But it's got belted chain, so the vines will fall through. It also has shakers right here, and it has this really big star table and belted chain up there. So it should drop a lot of the vines through, just shaking them and bouncing them along. Should work really well. And we can also spit the vines out the side, so it'll be good. That way we'll actually be able to send our potatoes in. I think it's good. Okay. That should do it. Should be good. It's windy. All right. All that's on. On. Well, it turns on. Doesn't stay on.
Turn it on hand or auto?
It was on auto.
And all I did was switch the hydraulics, and now that one's working.
Is everything running?
Everything's running.
But that one's going the wrong way, the one at your feet.
Oh, really?
Oh, the feet's
Dumping
going
off
wrong
the
way?
front. In the back.
Really?
Yep.
Darn. Well, let me do it again.
Cross conveyor will go the other way, too.
Cross conveyor should. See?
We
But
need to change the wire for that one.
that bottom belt down there is going the wrong direction. But yeah, in this panel we just switch a wire and it should work. Okay, well, we're getting our piler flipped around. We got this 40-foot conveyor right there that we're gonna put that underneath the back of the sorter table. I don't know, this thing's slow. And then we're gonna flip this around. The old ones used to have a buddy seat. Our really, really old one does have that. But we're gonna put this piler on the end over there. That's probably good. And then we're gonna load the semis over here, and the other ones will unload on the other end of the even flow. So, yeah. I know I said this was gonna be a multi-day video. Turns out it's not, because we just have had nonstop problems today. This afternoon I thought, we're only gonna have one little thing here or there. Nope, it's just problem after problem. Never stops, never ends. That's farming. I'm ready for a vacation. We've got everything pretty well set up now. That's where it's all gonna be. We've swung this over. This is where the old main line was that we just moved. And so Josh is just packing that, filling it in, because this is where the semis and stuff are gonna have to go. And I'm going to hop into this little scraper tractor, and I'm just gonna scrape over this a whole bunch to make sure it's smooth, because we also, our sprayer, the guy who we hired to spray, his stuff's parked back behind the cellars, and he has to drive over this with his sprayer. So we want it to be smooth, at least as smooth as we can get it. All right, that looks pretty good. Got it smoothed out. Luckily my parents haven't built their shop yet, because it's gonna go right here, so it's not in the way. That should be plenty smooth for the semis and for our sprayer guy to come through here. All right, guys. Well, I think all of our crises have been averted. Again, fingers crossed. They are currently pumping out the cellar, and then that should be fine. It didn't hurt anything, so yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it. I did not know that this stuff was gonna happen, so it's all a mystery to me. But if you guys enjoyed it, make sure you go down below and fill out the RMF Club form so you're in the RMF Club. And I love you. I'll see you in the next one.